When you think of the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy's theme song, this might be the first thing that crosses your mind. It makes sense since this is the show's opening theme song, but this wasn't always the case. Before Billy and Mandy became its own standalone show, it was a part of another show called Grim and Evil alongside Evil Concarne. Grim and Evil ran between 2001 and 2002, but eventually both Evil Concarne and Billy and Mandy cut the cord and became their own separate shows in 2003. Sadly, Evil Concarne got cancelled in 2004 while Billy and Mandy carried on until 2007. Now, what I find interesting and kind of eerie about all of this is while Evil Concarne maintained its theme song, Billy and Mandy didn't. Okay, let me explain. Back in Grim and Evil, every time we watch an episode of Evil Concarne or Billy and Mandy, we would always see a title card in the beginning of every episode. Each show had a specific theme song played in every title card, and while you watched the episodes, you would quickly tell that the title card's theme song was indeed the main theme song of the show. For example, this was Billy and Mandy's theme song. And this was Evil Concarne's theme song. It was like this throughout the entire runtime of Grim and Evil, but then after both shows ended their relationship, something weird happened. Evil Concarne didn't change his theme song. Heck, the opening theme song for the show was 100% based on the show's main theme song. Keep in mind that when I say opening theme song and main theme song, I don't mean the same thing. When I say opening theme song, I'm referring to the song used for the opening sequence, and when I say main theme song, I'm referring to the show's main, how do I phrase this, melody. The show's main melody. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I'm gonna stick with main theme song. Now, calling and considering it a main theme song of a show can be highly debatable, but here's how I see it. Shows like The Flash and Sherlock have a theme song, but a show like The Big Bang Theory, for example, is one I would say that doesn't have a main theme song. It only has an opening theme song. Anyway, but then when you look at Billy and Mandy's opening theme song, something doesn't sound right. Huh? This isn't the show's theme song I'm familiar with. This used to be the show's theme song. The opening sequence of the show wasn't the only altered thing. Even when you listen to the show's title card song, it doesn't resemble the show's song for the title card from season 1. Heck, the theme song for season 1 never got played after it. It literally stopped becoming the show's main theme. Heck, if we analyze this even deeper, the show never really had a theme song after season 1. Sure, it had an opening theme song, but again, when I say opening theme song, I'm not referring to the show's main theme. Honestly, the closest that came to becoming the show's main theme was Grim and Evil's opening theme song. If you watch Go-Kart 3000 and My Fair Mandy, you'll notice that the melody for the opening song of Grim and Evil is played during several scenes. Is that enough to consider it the show's main theme? Yeah, no. The truth is, after Billy and Mandy became a standalone show, the show only really had an opening theme, but it never really had a main and purely official theme song. I'm saying theme song a lot, sorry. So why is that? What exactly happened? Well, I have no idea, but I can definitely say it has something to do with Guy Moon's removal. After season 1, Guy Moon stopped becoming the composer for Billy and Mandy and was replaced with Gregory Hindi and Drew Newman. Why was the case? I seriously have no idea. I tried looking up online, but I couldn't find any information regarding it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I prefer Gregory Hindi and Drew Newman as composers for the show. I think their style fits the show's tone better, and they recycle a lot less than Guy Moon. But still, it's pretty odd that Guy Moon was replaced in the first place. It's not that common for music composers to be replaced in television shows. In movies, yes, but in TV shows it's actually kind of rare, especially when Gaiman's performance wasn't even that bad. But whatever reason it was, the most logical explanation for why the show had to change its theme song is that after Gaiman's resignation, Cartoon Network couldn't acquire the rights to use his work. That would also explain why the song for the title card and the sound effect for the transitions changed. However, I'm not 100% confident on this theory for one particular reason.
Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, coming fall 2006. This title not yet rated.
Well, you're probably wondering, what does the game have anything to do with all of this? Well, funny thing about that, you see, one interesting aspect about the game is that it includes scores composed in several episodes of the show. At first, I thought it only included music composed for episodes of post Grim and Evil, but then I encountered this. If you haven't noticed, this song was played in an episode called Dream a Little Dream. And guess when this aired? That's right, it aired during the Grim and Evil era, aka while Gaimon was still around, which makes this entire situation a little more complicated. However, I do have one teeny tiny theory that may or may not explain this. It is possible that Gaimon wasn't the one who composed this score, but it was actually Gregory Hinde and Drew Newman. I mean, Dream a Little Dream was the last episode before Billy and Mandy spread its wings, so maybe during the production of this episode, Gaimon didn't get the chance to compose one last score for this one scene, possibly because it was around the time Gaimon was supposedly having a disagreement with Cartoon Network. So at the last second, they requested Hinde and Newman, which were the composers for Evil Concarne at the time, to compose this one score for this one scene. That would also explain why Gaimon isn't credited as a composer for the game. So in conclusion, I have no idea what the heck happened to Billy and Mandy's old theme song. I could speculate all I want, but at the end of the day, I have no clue on what exactly happened. Only the people behind the scenes actually know what happened. Now, keep in mind that the change of the opening theme song happened around the time Billy and Mandy suffered a change. The designs were different, the writing was different, the show became more surreal. It is likely that the only reason the music changed was solely because the showrunners had a different vision for the show. Who knows? If you were expecting me to have an answer, I'm really sorry to disappoint because I really don't know. But as a consolation, I did find something interesting while researching all of this. Something I had completely forgotten about actually. Before Grim and Evil came to be, a pilot for Billy and Mandy, which ended up being the first segment of Grim and Evil, aired in 1999, produced by Hanna-Barbera. This was the end credits scene for the pilot.